Hello guys, once again it's Matt and today we have another video. Thank you all the members of the Patreons. Make sure to subscribe and let's get into it, guys. So today they actually it was yesterday, so yeah, kind of old news, but still I wanted to make a video about this. Basically they responded a little bit of the feedback with the tech tree changes that they are going to do with the new update. Okay, so if you don't remember, just for for the sake of explaining a little bit, following the roadmap, one of the latest ones, they basically are, regrouping some of the vehicles, changing where they are in the tech trees and stuff to help. Basically, the objective is to help players research the vehicles quicker and have more of a sense on where every vehicle is and everything like that, right? So it's a rework of all the tech trees, and they are listening to the feedback. A lot of people complain about a lot of things. Things were added, things were, change it. But the good part is that they actually left the feedback for where certain vehicles are, like the objective of certain vehicles being where they are grouped or not, or the changes or not to the lines that they did. So let's talk a little bit about that. The objective of them is to maintain this new standard that they talk about with the BR difference of no more than one step, 0.3 or 0.4 in the BR gap, to make it so that these grouped vehicles have kind of a similar BR to actually have some sort of logical step up if you're going to grind that grouping, right? But each individual change was thought about with a lot of different things in mind. So it's a little bit more complex than that, but this is the main objective. Okay, so they talk about all sorts of problems here that they are trying to fix. For example, the sheer number of premium vehicles in certain nations and certain ranks that makes it a very, they call it a height, in a certain rank, which is kind of weird, but basically making the rank a lot bigger than it should just because of premiums. So they are probably going to fix that as well. But the first thing that they talked about is that due to the feedback, they made these decisions of changing these things. So F104A and C for the US are now grouped together, which makes sense. I mean, obviously. The SU7B and the BKL also for the Soviet Union grouped together. Amazing. The A28B and the Vampire FB52 now grouped together. They're basically the same aircraft, almost the same aircraft, if you will. The F6F 5N and the F4U1C swapped places with a corresponding change in rank and grouping. So there is that. XP55 moved to rank 3 and the Shenyang F5 moved to rank 6. This makes a lot of sense as well. So these were the main changes that were made from the feedback. But not only they did that, they are actually explaining why some of the stuff are being changed. The majority of them are due to the BR, okay? So I will give you some examples and some other examples that you can see. There is a lot of things. I'm not going to talk about every single one of them. You can click in the link below. This is in the forum, so you can take a look, or you can pause the video where it is to read if there is any vehicles that interest you, basically. Okay, so the main thing that you will see, the reasoning why these vehicles are not being grouped, one example here is the F80A5 and the F80C10. This is one of the examples, but there is a lot of these. The main reasons are the large difference in battle rating. So if it's too much of a big difference in the battle rating, it will not be grouped together. So remember this thing. These will be kind of the line of thinking that they're doing. It doesn't need to make sense logically, historically, It needs to make sense in the BR and in the economy of the game. That's what it needs to be. Historically, anything like that, I mean, it is probably looked into. They even mentioned this over here, of the sense of the similarities of the vehicle. If a vehicle is similar to the other one, they're normally thought about this being a thing that they do, right? But the BR change or the battle rating itself will be the thing that actually makes a vehicle being grouped or not. These together with other things like ranks, for example. So the F8, for example, over here, is a different rank. So that's why they're not doing that with the F8. So yeah, the F8F was removed from the grouping and moved to rank 3 due to the large difference in battle rating in both arcade and RB. So they're moving not only the battle rating but the rank as well, and that's why it's not going for that. But there are some other changes as well, which is very interesting. For example, the M1A1HC, if you remember in that list that they released, it is right here if you want to check it out. They are going to be moved to the branch of the M60A3 TTS. Why? Because they are a USMC tank, so they plan to actually have this USMC tank branch as one that they actually can, grow upon. So adding the M1A1 HC together with the M60A3 like this, which means it's meaning that it is a Marine Corps line, and they will add more vehicles in that line in the future. So not only they take rank and BR, but also these smaller little things that are cool, So for example, it makes sense. They are both from the USMC, so it makes sense. And they explain why some of these are not being added for other reasons as well. Maybe down here, for example, the Tiger H1 and Tiger E, for example, they're not grouped together because this branch at rank 3, there's only 2 vehicles in height of the tech tree, right? So they need to have these 2 vehicles at height at least, or something like that. They have this thing that they want to do. So if more vehicles are added in the future in this rank 3, for example, in this line of the rank 3 of the Germans, these 2 vehicles might be grouped. There is a lot of considerations doing this, and that's why feedback is so important. You can always go there and complain about it, ask for things. For me, for example, the F14A and F14B should be in the same branch, just like the F16 is. Maybe they don't want to do that, but there's a lot of these smaller examples that would help people actually grind top tier, at least aircraft. The Mirage 2000C and the Mirage 2000-5. I mean, yes, they are in the future they will be completely different aircraft, but I mean right now they're basically the same. So add it as to help people actually grind the top tier, right? It will have that 50% discount of the grouping, so it would help a lot. Again, over here, for example, M1A1 and IPM1, which is, it doesn't make much sense historically or anything like that, but they are being done like this instead of the IPM1 being together with the M1 because of the battle rating. So, and combat effectiveness, they say over here, but so it doesn't need to make sense historically or if the vehicles look alike. It just needs to make sense in the battle rating, the ranks, all sorts of stuff like this. This is another example of battle rating. The M48 Super was grouped with the KPZ-70 and not with the M48A2GA2 because of the significant battle rating differences. You will see a lot of these. This is another interesting one. The Leopard 2K was moved to be after the T-72M1 in another rank because this branch is filled with prototypes, exports, and GDR vehicles. So they're basically adding that line as the weird vehicles that Germany had, right? Or no weird in a sense, but vehicles that weren't the main battle tanks of West Germany and Germany afterwards, right? Or reunified Germany. You can see all of these having a sense of battle rating. I mean, this was a big one. For example, the 2S25 was grouped with one of the BMPs and not with the 2S25M, which doesn't make any sense if you think about it because it is basically the same vehicle, but because of the battle rating, they are changing the vehicle. So it doesn't need to make sense, okay? In the sense of historically, the way that the vehicles look, it just needs to make sense on the BR. The GR1 cannot be moved to rank 7 and grouped with the GR1 because of the battle rating. So it wouldn't fit that BR, that rank as well. So all of these will have this type of thing. Of course, we have the WZ1001 over here, was moved after the CM11 because we plan to fill this line with export and prototype vehicles, as well as vehicles from the Republic of China. So expect this type of weird export models or prototypes or anything like that for the Chinese tech tree, but also, for example, a future Abrams for it, because the Abrams are being used by the Republic of China that they say over here. So all of these changes have a sense behind them. That's why it's so important, again, for you to just get in, look at the amount of stuff that we have over here in these posts over here, and leave the feedback. Okay, guys? But yeah, very, very cool stuff. I think this is very, very good. These is explanations being opened with the community. Please, Gaijin, continue to do this. It really does help a lot. Even if it's not a big, game-changing thing, it will change the way that you research stuff. It will be a lot easier to research stuff. So it does change the game after all, right? At the end. So yeah, guys. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments what do you think about these changes. I think they are amazing. Hopefully they do more of these. And yeah, see you guys on the next one. Bye. Subscribe.